Kakadosh Boker Tov. We're continuing with halachot of Netilat Yadayim. We're speaking about now the pasuk of Seui Dechem Kodesh before the bracha. So some people have the minhag of saying Seui Dechem Kodesh Baruch et Hashem before making the bracha of Netilat Yadayim, and it's proper not to say it. However, though, he says the people that do say it, we cannot rebuke them, because they have what to rely on, and they should be very, very careful that they should finish this pasuk when they're going to finish a pasuk, and then they're going to make the bracha Netilat Yadayim before the drying, in order that the bracha should still be before the finishing of the mitzvah. Now, what about making a efsek between ma'aseh netilah and the bracha? So, from here we're going to learn that a person has to be very, very careful not to make a efsek between netilat yadayim and between the bracha and the niguv. Nevertheless, b'diavad, if you did make a efsek, right, you still will make the bracha of netilat yadayim, and then you will come and you will drive your hands, right? And he says if you're going to do netilat yadayim b'revi'it v'vatachat on the two hands, or you're going to pour a revi'it on every single hand, then you're going to be mafsik v'dibur. You should not make al netilat yadayim, but rather you should just come and dry your hands, touch your body parts, and then do it again. Now, if somebody is going to listen to Kaddish or Kedusha after he did Netilat Yadayim, before the Beracha, right? So and therefore he says before the Beracha and the Niguv, he's going to answer Dvarim Shebik Kedusha, and then afterwards he's going to make the Beracha of Netilat Yadayim and to dry his hands. Because again, since we are going to be mekel, we're going to be lenient that the drying is part of the mitzvah. So therefore, if the drying is going to be part of the mitzvah, you did the Netilat Yadayim. You just heard Kaddish Ukdusha, so you answer. Or you could even hear a beracha of Al Netilat Yadayim from somebody else. You answer, you make the beracha of Al Netilat Yadayim, and then you're going to come and you're going to dry. However, though, he says, if you already made the beracha of Al Netilat Yadayim, and before you dry your hands, now you're going to hear Dvarim Shebik Kedusha, you're not allowed to stop and to answer until you dry your hands. And Kol Sheken, you're not allowed to speak about any other type of sicha or sheyah between the beracha of Al Netilat Yadayim and the niguv. If you remember here, we said that this was actually, if you remember, machlok between Rav Ben Zion and Rav Ovadia. Here, Rav Ovadia is being machmir because if you're going to say that the drying is part of the mitzvah and you already came and you did the beracha, how are you going to come and you're going to now make a hefsek? If you make a hefsek, right now what? You have to dry your hands. So therefore, you dry your hands and then you will be able to come and to make the beracha. Obviously, you dry your hands and you'll be able to come and to answer Dvarim Shebik Kedusha. The last halakha is talking about the drying of the hands. He says a person should be very, very careful to dry your hands before eating the bread, before touching the bread. But Chazal say in the Gemara Masechet Sotah, Daf Talmud Vet, Kol ochel pat, velo nigiv yadayim kilu ochel lechem tameh. If you're going to eat bread without neguv yadayim, without drying your hands, it's as if you eat lechem tameh. He brings down a pasuk. So he says, Nachon lachmir, that even if you're going to be notel yadav letzorech, even achilat davar shetibulo b'mashke, also you should dry your hands, even though it's not a chovah, but you should try to be machmir also the same thing. And even when you're going to be notel yadav letfilah or sharat tzachim, also lechatechila, you should always come and you should dry your hands as well. Now, if you don't have a towel, so then what you're going to do is that you waited that it's going to dry on its own. Therefore, there's no problem, and you're allowed to make kamotzi, and there's no problem whatsoever. Or if you put it underneath one of these machines, the same halacha would apply. A hand dryer, right? Also the same thing. And he says that if you're going to even wash your hands with a revi'it, b'tzimtzum shtei yadav, and kol sheken if you're going to do it, or you put revi'it mayim al shtei yadav, also the same thing. A person should come and always dry their hands, but he shouldn't do it on his clothing because that's going to be davar sheshukech talmudo. And a person should be careful with even other clothing as well, not only the clothing that is on him, but even other clothing as well.